The Earth is defined by borders. Borders between continents, countries, states, nations. It's how we make sense of the world and how we govern it. While most borders seem to make sense, there are a few places across the world where boundaries get a little funky and funny at sometimes. With geographic confusion to time zone issues to strong military presence, here are the top 10 strangest borders in the world. Make sure to watch till the end of this video, as this video may give you some facts and ideas when traveling abroad. Number 10. Canossa Avenue, Canada and USA. Walking along Canossa Avenue, or Rue Canusa if you're walking on the Canadian side, is the perfect introduction to the daily struggles of residents living on the Canadian-American border between Québec and the state of Vermont. To abide to the rules completely, visiting their neighbors across the street requires a check-in at the border post down the road. While the line isn't always clearly marked between both countries, it is comically visible at the Haskell Free Library and Opera House, built on the border of 1901 to provide an open space of community and culture. The library straddles each country with only a discreet demarcation on the floor to show which side of the building belongs to whom. Although the entrances are on the US side, strolling from one aisle to another is a freely international affair. Number 9. Vatican City. Sitting within the city of Rome is a city of its own, Vatican City, which encompasses the Vatican City state. Also considered the smallest and least populated nation, as the seat of the Catholic Church, Vatican City's power is not to be neglected. Nevertheless, access is relatively loose, with only a checkpoint under a metal detector for security reasons, separating you from St. Peter's Square and the Vatican City with the rest of Rome. Once inside the city walls, you'll find all the essentials of a modern city with a Vatican post office, Vatican radio, and a Vatican pharmacy. Oh, and brush up on your Latin, recognized as one of the city's official languages. Number 8. Barl Nassau, the Netherlands and Belgium. It's highly unlikely that there's a more elaborate border crossing than the one zigzagging through Barl Nassau, a Dutch town that shares the border between the Netherlands and Belgium with its sister city Barl Hertog on the Belgium side. All told, there are more than 24 separate pieces of land belonging to Belgium embedded into the Netherlands like a patchwork quilt, the result of numerous medieval treaties and land swaps over the years. To keep things orderly, the two countries agreed to define their border by installing white crosses into the pavement around town. These designators are so precise that they run through shops, storefronts, lawns, even a cafe. At one time, Dutch law required restaurants to close early. But rather than kick out patrons, waiters would simply move guests to tables on the Belgium side of the cafe. Elections are a challenge in the towns too. Houses are split by the border. The town determines who lives in which country by the location of their front door. Number 7. Kunjera Pass, Pakistan and China. At 15,397 feet in elevation, Kunjera Pass, a mountainous highway that pierces through the Pakistani and Chinese border, is the highest paved international border crossing in the world and marks the highest point on the Karakoram Highway, or KKH. But the true stars of the trip are the breathtaking 360-degree vistas. They make the drive more than worth the extra gas. In the distance are the Karakoram Mountains, a massive range that spans 311 miles and crosses through Pakistan, China, and India. The Karakoram Range contains the world's highest concentration of mountains, over 26,000 feet in height, including K2, the world's second tallest peak. The pass is also home to several glaciers and traces a similar path to the Silk Road, an ancient series of routes that merchants used to trade silk and other goods, although some historians question its existence. Number 6. Northwest Angle, United States and Canada. What looks like an unassuming convenience store called Jim's Corner in the northwest angle between Minnesota and Manitoba, Canada is really a tiny border crossing building, equipped with a video phone with 2 lines, one to a customs agent in Canada and one for the United States, depending on which direction you're heading. That's not the crossing's only unusual feature though. To get to the US side of Jim's Corner, visitors have to drive through Canada. The crossing is tucked in Lake of the Woods, Minnesota, an exclave that is completely surrounded by Canada and is the northernmost contiguous portion of the United States. Long ago, mapmakers misjudged the location of the source of the Mississippi River, Lake Itasca, leading to a border that requires travelers to go through the United States to get to Canada to get to the United States. Confused yet? Number 5. District of Columbia. The District of Columbia was originally a big diamond carved out of Maryland and Virginia. Later, the Virginia portion was returned to Virginia. Due to its size, shape, and location, the border has some unusual features. When it was originally delineated, large stones were placed 1 mile apart around the entire district to define the border. 100 stones in all, since the original district was 10 miles long on each side. A few of the stones are missing today, but most are still present. There's one in Silver Spring, Maryland, that marks the northernmost point of the district. The border is unusual in other ways as well. Eastern Avenue and Western Avenue form the northeast and northwest borders, respectively. If you're walking on the sidewalk on the northern side of the street, you're in Maryland. The street itself is in the district, and the curb is the state line. Stores on one side of the street showing phone numbers in their windows will have one area code for Maryland on the north side of the street and a different area code for the district on the south side. Number 4. Mount Everest, Nepal, and China. Only the brave and ambitious border crossers will have the chance to cross what is the world's highest international border. Situated between China and Nepal, the border divides the summit point of Mount Everest at 29,000 feet. Don't expect to get your passport stamped up there though. No border patrols are to be seen, but if you're trekking through the North Base Camp, China side, you'll be required to have a frontier pass and an alien's travel permit on top of the required travel permit for Tibet and Chinese visas. The base camp on the Nepal side, requiring slightly fewer permits, national park entry permit and trekker's permit on top of the visa, is barely less challenging yet more popular, with tens of thousands attempting the trek every year. No matter what side you choose to ascend, be aware of altitude sickness and extreme weather conditions. If you want to enjoy the same colorful sunrise or charming tent scenery as those who've reached the summit since 1953. Number 3. Tumen River, North Korea and Russia. The Tumen is a river in northeastern Asia, in an area near the coast on the border between Russia and North Korea, just to the south of Lake Khasan. The Tumen snakes down between Russia and North Korea and is actually in Chinese territory. Thus, in this area, you can start off in North Korea, and just by walking north for less than half a mile, you will pass through China and end up in Russia, although that might not be a good idea. It's a common place for North Koreans to attempt to defect, and for that reason, it is heavily patrolled by North Korean soldiers. Number 2. Korean DMZ, North and South Korea. The Korean DMZ is a strip of land about 160 miles long and 2.5 miles or 4 kilometers wide, dividing North and South Korea. It is the most heavily militarized border in the world. Because it's so heavily guarded and almost nobody ever enters it, it has inadvertently created a nature preserve. A number of highly endangered species have taken up residence there, and there are indications that some of them may even be increasing in population. The DMZ is also notable in that it does not delineate a border per se. Rather, it surrounds a military demarcation line, or MDL. A border between the two Koreas cannot be formally agreed upon, as the two nations are technically still at war. A ceasefire was agreed upon in 1953, but there has never been an actual peace treaty. Number 1. Diomede Islands, Russia and the US. The Diomedes are a pair of islands in the Bering Strait. Little Diomede hosts the American city of Diomede, with a population of 146. Big Diomede belongs to Russia and is uninhabited. The two islands are only about 2.5 miles or 4 kilometers apart. The international date line passes between the Diomedes and serves also as the border between the United States and Russia. Thus, when residents on Little Diomede look across the strait at Big Diomede, they are not just looking at another country, they are looking into tomorrow. For example, when it's 9 a.m. on Saturday on Little Diomede, it is 6 a.m. on Sunday on Big Diomede. Little Diomede has set up a webcam looking across the strait. Visitors can control the camera, panning from side to side, zooming in on Big Diomede. Our planet is all bordered up by us humans. Historically, our ancestors started protecting their cultures and values by living among like-minded people who had the same interests and making borders to have control over who could enter or exit their kingdoms. What do you think about this video? Do you have some place in mind that should be in this video? Let us know in the comments. Please like, share, and subscribe for more amazing videos.